Hello, Bolt family. My name is Bolt Dad, and today we're talking NFL Draft.
You're streaming the Bolt Dad Podcast with your host, Bolt Dad.
Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe for more content like this.
Bolt Dad, baby.
Hello, Bolt family. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate it. Hopefully you like the new setup we have here, and also a big shout out to everybody commenting, giving me tips, tricks, ways to improve the show here. Certainly very much appreciated, and I'm taking it to heart. You can kind of see here we have a new and improved setup. We are going to talk about the draft today. Very excited about it. There's been a lot of analysis. I will just tell you out the gate, this is not something I'm good at. So we're going to talk a little bit more of gut feelings. We're going to talk about a couple specific players that I'm really excited about, some that are maybe more controversial than others. We're going to talk a little bit about Tom Telesco, his past, and how it's really molding his draft decision here at 17. What's he going to do? What's his strategy? What's he done in the past is usually a great indicator of the future and current present situation. Is Brandon Staley going to help Tom Telesco throw a huge curveball? We don't know, right? Very exciting times for a Bolt family here. So let's go ahead and dive into it. First and foremost, what I do want to talk about is Tom Telesco and his decision-making in the past and how that's going to affect the present. And, is Brandon Staley going to really change that for us? So in the past, Tom Telesco, as we all know, Coupon Tom, he has been conservative, to say the least. He's hit on, there's no question whether you call it luck or not, there's no question he's hit on some big-time first-round picks these last few years. Made a huge difference. But this year, is he going to be conservative in his approach? Is he going to wait for somebody to fall to us to 17 like Derwin James did? Why did Derwin James fall to us that low? He was a phenomenal talent. Maybe injuries here or there. Are we going to get lucky with a phenomenal talent that's falling down that might have a downside, such as being injury prone? We don't know that. Or is he going to really focus on best player available? It seems like that's been his most common theme, is best player available. So is he can continue with that? My guess is yes. I think he is going to focus on best player available. I think that he's going to let the board pieces fall down to him. Would I be thrilled, excited if he went all in and like he did in free agency and he trades up and grabs somebody? That would be incredible. I don't see it happening, but this has been a unique offseason, to say the least. So it's very likely that he could do that this year much more than in past years. So let's talk about what would be worth it for us to move up. If for me, it's kind of broken down into two types of players. We have players that we are super excited about, that are really kind of that sexy pick, but we'd have to frankly move up to get. Or we have players that are still good quality players, but much more realistically obtainable around 17. At least that we're, in case somebody great falls, much more realistically obtainable at 17. So what kind of players would we expect to be around? I'm thinking somebody like Trent McDuffie. I think as a cornerback, I think he might be in that area. Jordan Davis was a combine freak of nature, combine stud. I have a feeling he's not going to be there. For those who are really excited about him, people just teams get enamored when a player does so incredibly well in the combine. I think a wide receiver like Chris Olave might fall to us, but let's keep it real. He has great speed. He showed out great in the combine, and speed is one of the number one factors for at the end of the day when you're looking at the draft for teams. So there's a very real possibility that pre-combine he might have fallen to us, but post-combine, I think he might get snatched up. And there's a lot of wide receiver depth, but if he's quick, somebody's going to take him before that he falls to us. That's just, again, my opinion. I could be completely wrong. But then we talk about maybe a wide receiver or offensive tackles that might that might fall down to us. We talked about, in the past I've talked about Penning. I don't think. I think Penning will be there for us. I think that might be a realistic get. Whether or not we want him based off of his performance at the Senior Bowl is a different question. We're going to dive into him a little bit more, but I think he'll be available. So I'm just thinking of players that might actually be available at 17. Zion Johnson, I think will be available. So there's a lot of options that could fall to us if we sit and wait. If we're going to go all in and move up, there's then we could maybe get somebody like Stingley, right? So Derek Stingley, I'm really excited about, and clearly Staley is very excited about since he was coaching him during his pro day. So if I were to move up, which is an option for him to do. We're talking strategy. You'd have to move up for an incredibly high caliber player. Maybe you can move up for somebody like Charles Cross, right? I think that is a phenomenal option if we're going to move up to. Rather than if we're going to put all our pieces in. So if we're going to put all in to get the highest quality caliber player. So I'm throwing out kind of names at random right now, but the point is, are we going to move up and get that highest quality caliber player, or is Tom Telesco going to do what he's usually done, stay put at 17 and hope that the best player available falls to him? So there is a huge amount that goes into pre-draft analysis and deciding who's the best player available. And the only way you know who's best player available is not by going on NFL Network and listening to ESPN. Maybe some teams do that, but Tom Telesco really focuses on and utilizes an entire team of scouts that go out and look at these players. And I think he's such a system guy, he's so analytical, that he's not going to deviate from that draft board no matter what. He's not going to go for that gut instinct, I got to get this guy. Staley's a little bit more like that. So maybe he's going to have some influence. It's possible. Right? It's very hard for me to see that happening. I think it's much more likely that he's going to stay put at 17. So let's talk then more focus on who we would love to have that's probably going to be in that 17 range. It's not as a sexy, exciting thing to talk about, but much more realistic. So my probably number one player that I would love and I feel is realistic is Trent McDuffie. I feel like he fits the mold of who we want and what we want. I think that he's not the biggest cornerback out there. He's, I believe, around 193 pounds. He's not huge, but he's a fantastic player for us to go for if he falls to us. I have a feeling that Staley his mind is set on DBs. It's hard for me to see him really thinking past that. So if a high quality DB falls to us, I think that is a very much a likely candidate for us to get. Another player that I really, really like is Daxton Hill. Daxton Hill has explosive, rare speed. He's intelligent. He can go into multiple coverages. He's loose. He's smooth. He backpedals. It's a thing of beauty the way he maneuvers around. I'm a huge fan of him. There is some inconsistency as far as recognition of certain routes that he's displayed. But at pick 17, you're not going to get the perfect player. But he's a DB. Now you can specifically say, oh, he's a safety versus, oh, we need a cornerback. But remember, the way Staley speaks, he is very focused on calling everybody a DB, right? Whether you're a linebacker, whether you're a cornerback or a safety, he wants everybody to be a DB. That's how he refers to it. So he wants people that are versatile and that can play a lot of different roles. And he wants to surround Derwin James, the quarterback of the defense, as he's essentially termed it. He wants to surround people around him that and give him ammunition. And right now, I'm fearful we're a little bit weak on the DB side. You might think, wow, we just brought in J.C. Jackson. We already have some linebackers. Drew Tranquil's great, but Kenneth Murray, he's, who knows? I'm not 100% certain with his most recent injury to his foot. But, is that going to be something even after he recovers that he might linger a little bit? The linebacker position to me is no longer really a strength for us. You could argue with me on that. Please, go ahead on the comments. But the point is I think even though we've focused so much on the line, I wouldn't be surprised if we went the route of getting a DB, or even if we were going to trade up, going for somebody like Derek Stingley. I think he would be a fantastic reason to trade up for. So in my mind, I'm thinking DB, I'm thinking safety, I'm thinking a Daxton Hill, I'm thinking if we're going to move up, trade up, a Derek Stingley. That's really in my mind kind of where I go to. But that being said, where's our biggest need? If we're going to talk about position, what's like the most important position, that biggest weakness that's of need on our team? I think without question, that's right tackle, right? I love the idea of getting that resolved. If it's not in the draft or late in the draft, getting somebody in free agency after the fact. I love the idea of bringing somebody in who can help us win right now. So let's talk a little bit about the opportunity of bringing in an offensive tackle. Well, so we mentioned Trevor Penning a little bit before. Trevor Penning is very interesting to me as far as all of the couch GMs and their takes, on me being one of them. When I first saw Trevor Penning, I'm not going to lie, I was excited. When I saw his tape, when I saw his aggressiveness, it's just this old school approach and throwing guys to the ground, just like kind of like that attitude that you want and that X factor attitude that you want in your offensive lineman. The idea of having somebody like that to protect Herbert and run people over in the run offense is really exciting to me. But, I took a little bit of a turn. I started seeing a lot of people hating on him, really not liking his performance at the Senior Bowl. I went ahead and looked back at that tape at the Senior Bowl. I'm like, oh, well, I kind of see what they're saying. He might be maybe a hothead a little bit when he's on the field. And he's just throwing people to the ground just to make a point. I think there was 1 or 2 plays where he just threw the guy to the ground, but like essentially threw him into his quarterback, right? And that's kind of scary. So does he have the mental and emotional aptitude to be successful at the next level? Well, he has the physical tools. There's no question. He didn't really display it at the Senior Bowl, but in the Combine, he showed he had a great bend. He's got the physical tools for sure to be an elite tackle, but his mental, emotional aptitude, can it be restrained and focused? He's not a technical guy, right? He's not going to be all technique, which that's a big hang up with Trevor Penning. So he has, I think, a very, very high ceiling. At the same side, he does have a floor that's probably lower than you would hope, right? You're a little bit worried that maybe he's not going to catch on, or that he's just going to be way too aggressive. So there's positives and negatives. For me, if we got him at 17, I would not be upset. I know there's some fans that would be very upset. I would not be upset. But at the same time, I would also probably be a little bit reserved. I would certainly be paying very close attention to training camps, to the training camp, and seeing how he's progressing and is he catching on to things. That would be, it's all hypothetical. He might go before or after us. Some people are saying he's like a 3rd round pick. He's not a 3rd round pick. He is 1st round talent. No question about it. But, is he going to be able to mentally and emotionally adapt to the NFL once he gets taught the physical, the physical technique? I don't know. We'll see. So my take is I wouldn't hate him if we had him. I'm not as high as I was in the beginning, but we'll if we get him, I won't be upset. So Chris Olave, that's another. I'm just kind of jumping all over. Not a lot of structure today. I want to talk about Chris Olave as far as wide receivers go, and I'm bringing him up because I do feel like there is a possibility he'll fall to us. I think he has a lot more speed than we initially realized when you hit in the Combine. He's got a lot of speed, and so I think it's like a 4.39 officially. So he's quick, and I really like him. I think he has. He's super smooth. It kind of reminds me of Keenan Allen in the sense of like a faster Keenan Allen, but he's very smooth. He's able to jab and juke. He's on like I got a good vibe with him when I'm watching him. Again, I can't think analytically with a lot of these players. It's more of a gut when I watch him, but he's just super smooth. And so I'm a huge fan of Olave. Do I think he's going to fall? I think there's a possibility, but he ran so fast, much faster than I think people expected in the Combine, that I think if anybody is going to, kind of go higher than we realize, it's going to be a wide receiver with speed. And so I think he really helped himself during the Combine, and he might not fall to us. If he does, again, great. Very excited, but I don't necessarily see that happening. That and we're just talking again. I'm talking kind of. I'm in the realm of who I think is most likely going to fall to us. So what? Jameson Williams, he's going to be gone before he comes to us. People really like Jameson Williams. I do too. He's fantastic. Is he going to fall to us? I would be so doubtful of that. We'd have to move up for him, and I can't see if we're going to move up for somebody. It's hard for me to picture the idea of moving up for a wide receiver, just because we do have depth at wide receiver right now. We do, and think of it this way. Let's say we bring on the next great wide receiver, and he's fantastic. Do you think he's going to have 1,400 yards and 10 plus touchdowns in our system? I don't think so. Why don't I think so? Because one of the things that Herbert brings to the table is his ability to disperse footballs to where it needs to go, when it needs to go, and indiscriminate of who the wide receiver is. So third downs being an exception, Keenan Allen. But outside of that, he's pretty good at dispersing the football around. He's not a Kirk Cousins that's going to throw to Jefferson 100,000 times and score and have 1 million yards. He's going to disperse it out again. He's not a Joe Burrow who is going to hit Jamar Chase 100,000 times every single play. Anytime he's in trouble, he's going to throw it up. Where's Chase? I'll just chuck it up. He'll get it, right? He's not that type of quarterback. So even if we had the best wide receiver draft steal of the entire draft, he's going to have to, we're going to bring on. Do you think Joe Lombardi is just going to be like, okay, we're going to write all the plays for him now? No, that's not what's going to happen. He's going to have to work his way in to the rotation of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. He's got to work his way into that. And then knock on, I've got a little bit of wood here in my coaster. Knock on wood, let's say one of our wide receivers fall down and get injured, and has like a Keenan Allen moment, right? Remember when Keenan Allen went down versus the Eagles? Keenan Allen, apologies. M80, when he went down, Keenan Allen, that was Keenan Allen's opportunity to jump in, and Floyd. It took me a minute. When Floyd went down, that was Keenan Allen's opportunity to shine. So, let's say we had the best wide receiver ever and we draft him, he's still got to have that moment to break in and have success. And, at best case scenario, he might not even have that much opportunity because Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are doing their thing, right? So I'm saying all of that because given that situation, it's hard for me to picture them moving up in the draft for a wide receiver. So Jameson Williams, to me, not going to happen. If we're going to move up in the draft, it would be in my mind, for either a huge player of need. So it would be like a Charles Cross or a tackle, or it's going to be for a DB. So somebody like Derek Stingley, right? So that's kind of my take on on wide receivers. I just don't see us moving up. If somebody falls to us, okay, great, perfect. But they still got to work through the rotation. Keep that in mind. I was asked this question, and I love it. If do we currently, before this draft, now have a team that's capable of getting to and in deep into the playoffs now? Yes, 100%. I think we can get to the Super Bowl with our current roster. So whoever we bring on needs to help contribute to that and contribute to it immediately now. And then, so that means if we're moving up, it's got to be for a DB who can contribute and help us now, or it's got to be for a tackle. That's just, again, my take on it. So let's talk a little bit about some other players that I think that might be good for us. So I really like Zion Johnson. I think a lot of people are high on Zion. I think he's he's a team captain. He's a good quality human being. I think he has a lot of strength, and I think he's definitely an option for us. I could see us having a chance to get him, so that might be a great player for us. I see. But I would say one thing about Zion is he does kind of have a kind of weird, unorthodox, like pre-snap stance. It's a little bit odd. He's kind of inconsistent and sometimes he struggles a little bit adjusting towards like moving targets. So I could see that being a little bit of an opportunity. But I personally love him. I think he'd be fantastic. And I think and he's actually kind of quick. He ran just above a 5.18, I think, for his 40-yard dash. So, I think he's an opportunity for us to draw. If we picked him up, I would certainly be happy. So, I know I kind of went all over the board here a little bit when it comes to players that we've talked about. It's not very structured, so apologize if it was a little difficult for you to kind of keep up, but I just wanted to give you opinion on some of my top prospects, the people that I really liked, people that they're a little bit controversial, like Trevor Penning, but as a whole, my personal take on it is Tom Telesco is going to sit on it and let it come to us unless somebody looks like they're falling a little bit, let's say down to 10, and they don't think that they're going to get past the top 10, or to get outside of the top 10, like between 10 and 17th pick, and they want to move up. Like, I don't see us moving up into like the top 10, but like, let's say just outside the top 10, are we willing to give up capital? Let's say, for example, like a Derek Stingley somehow by some miracle drops down to 10. I could see us jumping up, to get somebody like that. Outside of that, I think what we're going to do is we're going to sit and we're going to wait. And at that point, it's best player available. And so, that's when you're really talking about, okay, it could be a wide receiver. Okay, it could be a tackle. It could be, a DB. So it's this year is so unique in that I feel like as fans, we've kind of whittled it down by now to like top 3-4 most likely candidates. I have not seen that this year. This year, it feels like it's across the board because we filled so many needs during this offseason, but other than right tackle, that I think people are just like, it could be anybody. I love this wide receiver. I love this DB, and I personally have no idea what's happening. I haven't the slightest clue. I'm just super, super excited for it. I hope you are too. Hopefully, this podcast was easy for you to follow along as I kind of went all over the place. I'm personally really excited for this draft. I hope you are too. And hopefully you like this setup as well. And by the way, thank you for all the new followers, and I'll give myself a quick shout out. If you like the content that I have, great. Thank you so much for listening. Also, check out some of the hype videos that I created. I created one for Cleo Mack and Joey Bosa recently. Really excited about that one. And I also created a hype video just for the Chargers' upcoming season. In fact, this is really neat. So one of the songs that I used is by Dorothy, and that band was kind enough to actually give me permission for the copyright to have it on the song. So now I actually have it on YouTube without any copyright restrictions, which is very, very thank you. So go support Dorothy. If you haven't heard her music, it's actually pretty awesome. So check out the music video and then go straight to her page and follow them as well. So again, thank you, Bolt fam. I really appreciate it. And let's get really excited for this draft because it is going to be a good one. Bolt up.